Well, hello, dear viewer. 'Tis Uncle Jonah here once again, and I don't really have any special boxes. Well, that's a slight lie because I have this box, ho ho ho, which is now empty. That's such a cool box. Look, it's Santa's fat belly and beers on double fisted and ho 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 on the top. Now, please excuse me if I've done this beer review before. I don't think I have. I definitely had this beer before, but I don't think I've reviewed it. So that's why I'm doing it tonight. Um, yeah, using up some of the beers that I've had for a while, to be honest. And it's this one. So thank you to my sister and family who bought me these beers. First time they've ever bought me beers. It's nuts. Saucery, or Saucery, Session IPA. I know, it's Session IPA, but it's from Magic Rock, who are a fantastic brewer. 3.9, not enthused about that, but I think this is pretty cool if I remember. Where are they from? Huddersfield, is that right? Is that where they're from? They're from somewhere around there. Anyway, brewed in the UK, all that kind of stuff. They've done some really, really good beers in the past. They've won awards. They won Beer of the Year. When was it? About 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. And black top, but a silver bottom. What can we do, dear viewer? What can we do? The hops in here are Citra. Hey, why not? An Ekuanot. An Ekuanot is a weird hop because it can give a huge different amount of kind of aroma and profile. It's one of those hops that kind of can be used as a substitute for other hops because it has such a wide flavor profile. But we will come to that because I'm not sure if I'll be able to taste it, but we'll see. We shall see. Back to the upstairs, the vault, and back to the old tulip, as I call it. It looks a little bit like a tulip. So we're pouring reasonably clear, and then are we going to get a charge at the end? Oh God, look at that. Now this beer has been sitting up here for a few days, so that probably is why it's got such a huge head. Outrageous, dude. 2, 3 fingers? Yeah, 3-finger head. But that's what happens sometimes. I bet you the beer isn't going to be that fizzy. So this is, I wax lyrical about this sometimes, but because this beer is basically room temperature, which up here is about, I don't know, 16 degrees, 17 degrees, something like that. The bubbles, the carbon dioxide is not in suspension in the beer. It's free to explode. You've got to be a bit careful when you have beers that have been shaken a little bit, but also if they're a little bit too warm, because they expand, gas expands and all that kind of stuff. Boyle's law and all that kind of stuff for you chemists out there. Look at that. Huge bubbles as well. And those bubbles are going to disappear. And give it a minute or two and we will have hardly any head left at all. So let me do one of these. And because of the head, I'm going to stare at it. But it will be gone very soon. Right, let's put that over here. Oh, the other good thing about doing this is with room temperature beers, as opposed to chilled, and I guess cellar temperature somewhere in the middle, you get gorgeous aromas because the carbon and the bubbles are all coming out and breaking, and oh, you get some lovely, lovely stuff. But as it's a session IPA, they probably haven't put as many hops in as you would think. But I'm getting tropical stuff. I'm getting lemon, or maybe lime actually. yeah, like a sort of Mexican kind of Saucery type thing. A few berries in there, maybe. Nothing specific, but like I say, Equinot, it can be anything, all things to all men, shall we say. Now, colour is really good. It's not super light yellow. It's got a little bit of depth in the colour, and it's a hazy beer. It's not totally, well, I guess for you guys, it's pretty opaque, but let me tell you that you can still see a tiny bit through the beer, but it's not clear and it's definitely not bright by any means, by any metric. Cheers and beers. I've got to be really careful about this one in case I get drunk at 3.9% on the ABV. You know where we are. And it's a new year, so if you're not a subscriber yet, why not subscribe? You won't miss out on the reviews and you'll appease the YouTube gods. Cheers and beers, guys. Oh, wow. There's actually quite a nice amount of bitterness to this. It's a little bit on the juicy side, but I can definitely taste the kind of citra green thing going on in this beer. Yeah, surprisingly, more hops than I would have thought. So perhaps I'm doing Magic Rock a slight disservice. Let me see if we've got any other bits and bobs in the ingredients. I should have looked at that when it was focused before. Focus, 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 damn you. Um, Oats. Okay, so it's got oats in, but no wheat. Interesting, interesting. So I'm looking for that creamy thing. Not really there, to be honest. So maybe they're not using that many oats in the malt bill. Um, but what I was going to say, Citra, and I'm pretty sure that the majority of hops in here are Citra, with a little bit of Ekuanot just for a little tasty blend. Um, yeah, when you put oats with Citra, you don't tend to get, pardon me, you don't tend to get hedgerow cream or creamy hedgerow, which you would with other hops like Mosaic, Simcoe, those type of ones. So yeah, I'm not getting that creaminess from this beer, um, and it is bitter over sweet, which is unusual in craft beer, especially these days. Back in the day when West Coast IPA was a style, having bitterness in your beers was the thing to do. Nowadays, not so much, and especially ones with oat and wheat. I know wheat isn't in this particular beer, but um, yeah, it's a more sort of creamy, more sort of sweet. What should we call it? Cream soda? That's not exactly what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean, dear viewer. It's more the creamy kind ofness and molding things together. Whereas the old style, the West Coast style, the more bitter style, um, was about really punching you in the face with the hops. And for a 3.9% beer, this is kind of doing that. It is pretty damn bitter and hoppy. Look at that. As I sort of said, the head has totally gone. I know I swirled the glass a little bit, but yeah, nothing sticking to the side of the glass. Now, if there was any type of beer that was going to call itself a session IPA, and I despise that moniker because it's, in my opinion, stupid. However, having a quite heavily hopped, bitter pale ale at sessionable strength, I mean, nearly 4%. So is that sessionable? Well, don't know. But it is hoppy enough. That's what I'm saying. It is bitter enough to have the semblance of an IPA. But it's not an IPA, it's a weak beer. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. But this is the sort of taste of beer for me that I could potentially bend my hatred of session IPAs. But I'm not going to. Cheers and beers. I can definitely see what they're trying to do here, whereas most session IPAs fail miserably, in my opinion, by being just weak hop water. Some things called IPAs. Have a look at the 12 Beers of Christmas. There were a lot of watery bad boys in there. But if that's what people want, that's what your macro breweries are going to do for you. That was actually really nice. I did quite like that. Is it going to focus on here, or is it just going to focus on my visage? Can't do both, can we? Saucery Session IPA from Magic Rock Brewing. That is worth looking at, in my opinion. It's not going to get huge scores from me, but if you like a hoppy light beer, wow, pardon me, especially one for a school night. I'm going into the office tomorrow. I don't want to get absolutely hammered on winter warmers or any crazy things like that. So that is perfect for today. Guys, this has been Uncle Jonah drinking beers, hopefully for your entertainment. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll be back with another beer review. That's going to come up real soon.